Hello everyone, my name is Giselle Robistondo and my topic for today is all about the types of supervisor and administrator. So school supervisors oversee the administration of an educational institution. Their responsibilities cover all areas of the program, such as supervising the staff, developing program plans, and preparing budgets. They have to design and maintain curriculums, manage staff and support personnel, and create the best possible learning environment for students. So school administrator oversee administrative tasks in schools. They ensure that the organization runs smoothly, and they also manage facilities and staff. They are capable planners, possess good judgment, and are skilled in handling relations with various people, like staff, parents, students, regulatory bodies, and the public. A great school administrator also has an attention to detail and conflict management skills. So we will now proceed to the types of supervisors. So now let us know the different types of supervisors: direct supervision or supervisor, indirect supervision or supervisor, autocratic, laissez-faire, democratic, and bureaucratic. So direct supervision, it is a term that is used to refer to situations in which a supervisor is present at all times. The supervisor oversees activities as they occur and provides constant direction, feedback, and assistance, while the indirect supervision is characterized by some form of authority over the work of employees, not under direct supervision. In other words, the supervisor who provides indirect supervision is responsible for the work, but not for the worker. So as mentioned a while ago, the types of supervisions are autocratic, laissez-faire, democratic, and bureaucratic supervision. These types of supervision are generally classified according to the behavior of supervisors towards his subordinates. These are also called as techniques of supervision. So autocratic supervision, also known as authoritarian leadership, is a leadership style characterized by individual control over all decisions and little input from group members. Autocratic leaders typically make choices based on their ideas and judgment and rarely accept advice from followers. Under this type, the supervisor wields absolutely power and wants complete obedience from his subordinates. He wants everything to be done strictly according to his instructions and never likes any intervention from his subordinates. This type of supervision is resorted to tackle indisciplined subordinates. So here are the typical characteristics of an autocratic leader. This kind of leader tells and enforces, and little feedback is sought or needed from the team members, and the decision on process, task, goals are all created by the leader. And there is a sense that team members are rarely trusted with tasks and methods. This leadership style points at a method of just getting the job done. No real sense of empowerment, normally morale, can suffer in the long term. So here are the benefits of authoritarian leadership. For the long term, adopting nothing but an autocratic leadership style can be more damaging than rewarding, as it is seen as a cold dictatorial, I'm right management style which can undermine people and stifle creativity. The art of leadership is to be flexible, whereby the leader selects and uses the correct style to suit the situation. So that said, there are benefits to using the authoritarian leadership. Most appropriately, if tasks have to be completed with great and are time critical, setting clear tasks and expectation whilst making the decision seems a logical step, as often there is no time for discussion. In such condition, one needs structure, discipline, and to get the job done. So the negative of authoritarian leadership, people that normally opted for this style regularly can be seen a bossy, cold, and a dictator. Let's just say if it is the only style you use, the chances are you won't be voted as the next best leader sometime soon. Long-term use of its use can also build a resentment and a feeling of festering, whereby those team members are never given a chance to grow, proceeding to a feeling of being unvalued and distrusted. So based on the research, it has indicated that due to the nature of authoritarian leader and that he or she makes decision and controls the group, creative problem solving is often thwarted as a result. So one thing to remember though, if your team are not skilled in specific tasks, don't resort to an authoritarian approach in the long term. Find ways to teach, coach, and mentor them so you can do more delegation and less direction. So another is a laissez-faire or free-range supervision. This is also known as independent supervision. Under this type of supervision, maximum freedom is allowed to the subordinates. The supervisor never interferes in the work of the subordinates. In other words, full freedom is given to workers to do their jobs. Subordinates are encouraged to solve their problems themselves. So when we say laissez-faire, this is a French phrase means let them do, and it's used to describe a leader who leaves his or her colleagues to get on with their works. It can be effective if the leader monitors what is being achieved and communicate this back to his or her team regularly. So laissez-faire leadership, also known as delegative leadership. It is a type of leadership style in which leaders are hands-off and allow group members to make the decisions. Researchers have found that this is generally the leadership style that leads to the lowest productivity among group members. Laissez-faire supervision is characterized by very little guidance from leaders, complete freedom for followers to make decisions. Leaders provide the tools and resources needed. Group members are expected to solve problems on their own. Power is handed over to followers, yet leaders still take responsibility for the group's decisions and actions. So here are the downsides of laissez-faire leadership. Laissez-faire leadership is not ideal in situations where group members lack the knowledge or experience they need to complete tasks and make decisions. Some people are not good at setting their own deadlines, managing their own projects, and solving problems on their own. In such situations, projects can go off track and deadlines can be missed when team members do not get enough guidance or feedback from leaders. In some situations, the laissez-faire style leads to poorly defined roles within the group. Since team members receive little to no guidance, they might not really be sure about their role within the group and what they are supposed to be doing with their time. So another type of supervisor is a democratic supervision. Under this type, supervisor acts according to the mutual consent and discussion, or in the other words, he consults subordinates in the process of decision-making. This is also known as participative or consultative supervision. Subordinates are encouraged to give suggestions, take initiative, and exercise free judgment. This results in job satisfaction and improved morale of employees. So what is it? Leadership style. Democratic leadership style. The democratic leadership style is a very open and collegial style of running a team. Ideas move freely amongst the group and are discussed openly. Everyone is given a seat at the table, and discussion is relatively flowing. So this style is needed in dynamic and rapidly changing environments where very little can be taken as a constant. In these fast-moving organizations, every option for improvement has to be considered to keep the group from falling out of date. The democratic supervision style means facilitating the conversation, encouraging people to share their ideas, and then synthesizing all the available information into the best possible decision. The democratic leader must also be able to communicate that decision back to the group to bring unity. The plan is chosen. So when is it used? When situations change frequently, democratic leadership offers a great deal of flexibility to adapt to better ways of doing things. Unfortunately, it is also somewhat slow to make a decision in this structure. So while it may embrace newer and better methods, it might not to do so very quickly. Democratic leadership style can bring the best out of an experienced and professional team. It capitalizes on their skills and talents by letting them share on their views, rather than simply expecting them to conform. If a decision is very complex and broad, it is important to have the different areas of expertise represented and contributing input. This is where democratic leader shines. So another type of supervisor is a bureaucratic supervision. Under this type, certain working rules and regulations are laid down by the supervisor, and all the subordinates are required to follow these rules and regulations very strictly. A serious note of the violation of these rules and regulations is taken by the supervisor. This brings about stability and uniformity in the organization. But in the actual practice, it has been observed that there are delays and inefficiency in work due to bureaucratic supervision. So how rules can guide people by the bureaucratic supervision? Bureaucratic supervision is one of the oldest forms of leadership. It dates back to the first world rulers, including Genghis Khan and Julius Caesar. In order to govern huge territories, these leaders were forced to create rules, regulations, and hierarchies that were easily replicable. So bureaucratic supervision rely on rules and regulations and clearly defined positions within organizations. They tend to be people who are well organized. People in bureaucratic supervision are likely to report only to their immediate supervisor, or in the case of a president or CEO of a company, to the board of directors. Stepping out of the organizational role they play is difficult for them. Employees in bureaucracies are promoted based on their ability to conform to the rules. Bureaucratic supervision is based on strict hierarchies and often depends on written job descriptions and organization charts to explain the hierarchy and the relationships. So, if we will compare supervisors and administrators, both of them share a common denominator, and both are involved on the basic functions of planning, organizing, and controlling. Administration usually refers to the department that actually runs the nuts and bolts on organization, like finance, human resources, contracts, intra- and interagency transaction. Supervision is being in charge of others, specifically people and the work environment. Administrators can be supervisors, but supervisors are rarely administrators. Administrators develop company policy, but supervisors implement the policies. The terms boss, leader, and manager are also used in the position of supervision and administration, but can take on different meanings depending on what department and what types of work is being done by whom, to whom, and for whom. So we are here now for the types of administrators. The first type of administrator is a laissez-faire administrator. This only allows the organization to run itself. There are advantages and disadvantages for this. So the disadvantages are leader keeps a low profile, no positive leadership, poorly prepared professional, promotes weakness in personnel, and less productivity. And for the advantages, young, energetic professional can come in and make positive changes, innovative changes. And seasoned and productive professional can initiate new program. And the second one is autocratic or authoritarian, a boss, not a leader. Disadvantages are less communication and less debate. Individual is limited in power to contribute. Decisions made without facts or an investigation. Policies are as good as the leader. Mistakes are usually big ones. Advantages are requires a higher degree of uniformity, complete control, promote efficiency, get the job done because the buck stops here mentality. Leader is usually experienced. Okay, so for the last one is democratic. This kind of administrator is equal and fair. The disadvantages promotes inefficiency with slow procedures or committees, promotes biases within the organization, requires group agreement before moving on. And for the advantages, everyone has an opportunity to contribute, spread the corps or spirit of cooperation. Group effort precedes most decisions, and less mistakes. That's all. I hope everyone learned from my topic. Thank you and God bless.